my nephew, he's 12.
Yeah.
He was doing it so quick that I told him, okay, well, read the cards now. And he'd be like, 6, 8.
Just flipping them over and
Just
then
reading them, yeah.
For real. That's live. That's live.
Yeah.
That's live. What's it called?
Third eye. Third eye.
It's just something that you just.
Yeah. I went to long story. I went to this.
Don't worry, we're running, so you're good, yo.
Okay, I went to this retreat in France, and how you doing, man?
All right, fam. Peace, yo.
Yeah, I'm out of here.
All right, take it easy, bro.
Yeah, and I saw it done live.
Yeah.
But these were with playing cards, and this older woman was doing it, and they were explaining how you see something and then you know what the card is.
Yeah.
But this was plain back card, so it's easier to see if there's no pattern on it.
Right.
So my thought was like, okay, well, I started trying it and it's difficult because I was trying it with regular cards.
Yeah.
And I said, well, children, they don't have all this extra stuff that we have.
Baggage or whatever. Yeah.
So they must be able to do it quicker.
Yeah.
And tried it on him and he was just like, bap.
For real.
Yeah, in October.
For real.
And I pushing him to like keep doing it 10 minutes a day, 10 minutes a day, you know.
That's when we'll get on. Oh yeah, forgot something. Yes, Islam Wars. Peace, Hotep. Blessed love, greetings. Apologize to everybody for last week. You know, I was dealing with a little head cold and all that. You know, so we had to make sure get that dealt with before we get back. But we're back live and direct. Islam to all the Moors online. Once again, start off with the little bills. By July, we should be up in the new spot. So we just solidified the new temple space. So that should be good, right? You know how it goes with the movement, always building, always transitioning, always evolving. You know what I mean? So we're gonna be starting up the Sunday classes again. The first people on deck for the Sunday classes, we got Taj on deck for July. We got Jelani Bay for July, and then we're gonna be introducing some new Moors to the cipher. Moors who just been doing their own studying, you know what I mean, that we built with, you know, and you know, in due time we're gonna get those names out there so people could start familiarizing themselves with those people. But you know, as of right now, we're pretty much taking a more serious role especially in the city, you know, with going ahead with getting the people to know about the birthright issues and all that. Because in the past probably week or two, maybe got 7 calls from people. Just, you know, I got some tickets, you know what I mean? How do I deal with this? Or I just got pulled over, you know, they did this, blah, blah, you know, I recognize what's going on now, whatever. So people are waking up, alarming. So if there's Moors out there that have information, you know, I was speaking with brother Bedell today, you know, ex-military brother, and I was telling him, oh, you got to start putting some stuff out because you got info from when you were in Desert Storm and all that stuff.
Major,
you know what I mean? That's major info. You know what I'm saying? So we're looking forward to that. We're looking forward to all these other new Moors that are, you know, that's been doing their studying, and they're gonna start putting, like, you know, it's like how we put stuff out. We're trying to get other Moors to just put stuff out. Just put it out, just because. You know what I mean? You know. Once again, we have to also big up Brother Sheldon Bay for being in the house, because, you know, again, that's the Moor that did the Germany lectures that you've seen. And, you know, if you know, these are the things that keep us doing what we do. You know what I mean? Because when you talk about Moors, and then people are in Germany, Alaska, you know, Switzerland or whatever, calling you to say, "Oh yeah, what you're saying is real," and they come with documented facts to prove that the Moorish paradigm is no joke all around the world, you have to take it serious. You know what I mean? So give thanks for all that. Once again, right? Keep putting it out there just so that, you know, people can't say we're not doing our job or whatever. Islam to brother Jabbar Gaines ill for always being on my back to make sure that I get the information out on the summit. So remember the centennial commemoration. We are a nation. National Census and Registration Drive, October 20th, 2013. All right. Noble Drew Ali quote. One day you are going to look out into the street, and the streets are going to be filled with men with turbans and fezzes, and the highways are going to be blocked. For more information, contact Centennial Director L. Alston Bay, daytime number 202-696-0088, evening number 202-725-2686. You could also contact M. Kirkland L. 301, blessed love sis, please, 852-4597. B. Graham Bay, 410-935-9846. Jabbar Gaines Ill, 260-241-4080. And Kenyu Umar Bay, 312-888-5486. We are a nation. So if you're able, you know what I mean, support your divine and national movement and try to get yourself to Washington, D.C., October 20th, 2013, just to be there. You know what I mean? Just so that there's a fez there or a turban there. All right? So today's class is Canaan's de facto curse. Right? The thing that lets everybody run away from Moors information or whatever, Noble Drew Ali, because, you know, Noble Drew Ali founded Old Canaanite Temple, right? Canaanites are those, you know, people eating their babies or whatever, you know, in the Bible, the cannibals in them, right? The devils of the planet, you know. Nobody wants to be the Canaanites and hang out with the Canaanites, right? Everybody's trying to take their land, and, you know, he got cursed. He's going to be a slave among slaves and all this. All right, so we're going to get there eventually. First of all, we're going to start off with Messenger Elijah Muhammad on Muhammad Ali. Now, this is reprinted from Muhammad Speaks newspaper, April 11th, 1969. I'm not going to read all of this because pretty much, you know, big up to Muhammad Ali for recognizing what was up. Big up to Muhammad Ali for making one of the biggest statements ever, that, you know, the biggest mistake he ever made was cutting off Malcolm.
Yeah, remember he said
Yeah, the biggest mistake he ever made. Everything that he ever did, biggest mistake he did was treating El Hajj like, or not even treating El Hajj, listening to the NY about El Hajj and then treating him on the merit of what they said, opposed to the relationship that they already had. They were, you know, brothers and all that, right? And you know, we don't. If you're showing me Elijah Muhammad with his fez on, then okay, I'm gonna rep that Elijah Muhammad. But the other Elijah Muhammad, you know, the no fez, no headwear, no tarbush, no kufi, and nothing like that, forget that guy. That guy was a player, right? So, in my opinion, this is the player talking, right? Because he went hard at Brother Muhammad. And again, you could go online, you could check it out yourself. The name of the article is Clarification of Action Taken by Messenger Muhammad Against Muhammad Ali's Action. This is about the whole, when he was trying to go to Vietnam and all that and whatever, right? And we're just going to read a couple interesting points in this, right? Now, one interesting point is throughout the whole article, it's talking about Muhammad Ali, but he always puts Cassius Clay in brackets.
Okay.
Right?
What was the point of doing that?
Right? Now, yeah, and we'll see the point when we start reading, right? So, I gave him the Muslim name Muhammad Ali and removed the slave name Cassius Clay. This made him famous all over the world. In Asia, the Muslim world recognized him to the highest, but no more when they find that he is still Cassius Clay everywhere. Why would Asia respect Muhammad Ali? They respected him because of the name Muhammad Ali. They did not respect him for the sake of the sport boxing. They do not have prize fighting in the Muslim world. They respect Muhammad Ali because he was a Muslim and was whipping the white man and the black man out of the honor of being champion man of the physical world of sport. Do you think that they will respect Muhammad Ali? No. If they did, they would not be good Muslims. If I take Muhammad Ali, Cassius Clay, down as being worthy of the respect of the Islamic world, do you think they would respect him? No. If the Muslims did continue to respect him, they would be unfit themselves to be called Muslims. Robbie, what up? Yo, those are those dollar store cashews right there. Those are the ones. Those are the ones.
All right, as long as you know.
Those are the ones.
Cashews are expensive,
Yo, trust me.
though.
Right? So, now, throughout this whole thing, right? You know, the parts he mentioned Muhammad Ali, whatever, right? So he's talking about the respect, right? That Muhammad Ali, because he's a Muslim and whatever. No, the respect comes from the name Ali. Because for all around, everybody in the world that's Muslim knows that the name Ali is exalted. Right? Now, Noble Ali taught that the name Ali is exalted, don't name your children Ali. All right. Now, I spoke about this before. My humble opinion, that's how he got the disease. There's no boxing or whatever. He got the disease because NY put a hex on him by calling him Ali, which you're not supposed to be using that name. You're supposed to be El Bey or whatever. But, you know, if they call him El Bey, then that gives up the whole that they were actually nationalizing people in the NOI, in the early NOI. And not even early, because this is the 60s. So late NOI, they were nationalizing people, right? I gave him the Muslim name Muhammad Ali, according to Elijah Muhammad. Now, the protocol is that you're supposed to get X first, and then when you get the X or Shabazz or whatever, right? And then you get worthy when Fard Muhammad comes back from wherever he went away to, right? Then they're gonna give you the name now.
Also, that's the rules then.
Yeah, that was the rules.
Oh, okay.
Right? The X is supposed to be, it's not supposed to be something that you carry
Intermediate then.
forever.
Yeah, intermediate. I was gonna say, like
Right?
a blank.
Yeah.
So we just put an X for now.
You just put an X for now.
Like in algebra, X is anomaly, right?
Right.
So you just
Right.
put X. You don't know.
And that's exactly what it's for. The X for the unknown. Right? And of all the people, right? Nobody asked the question, how this new guy just coming in get the name Ali off the bat? Like, how do you just get the name Ali just like that? Yeah, we're just gonna name him Ali, just, you know, and we're not gonna name him X. And then there's people right now, they got 13X, 56X or whatever. They've been X's forever, right? So we're gonna skip down, right? So this is the key point. This means, those of you who desire to follow Mr. Muhammad, Cassius Clay, for the sake of a little money from the devil, I say help yourself. But I, Elijah Muhammad, will not wait on Allah. Muhammad Ali is out. He's not waiting on Allah, then he's taking that position. Right? Muhammad Ali is out of the circle of the brotherhood of the followers of Islam. All right, so now this is a separate jurisdiction than the Nation of Islam now.
Right.
Because if he's talking about the circle, right, of the brotherhood of the followers of Islam, he could have just said Nation of Islam. Well, we're going to out you from the Nation of Islam.
That's true.
But he's talking about brotherhoods and circles and all that stuff, and that's code talk.
That sounds Masonic.
That sounds very Masonic.
Yeah.
Right? Which is why, every time they show that picture and he has the marked fez. And the only people who mark their fez is Masonic orders. Right? Muhammad Ali is out of the circle of the brotherhood of the followers of Islam under the leadership and the teachings of Elijah Muhammad for 1 year. This means that Mr. Muhammad Ali, Cassius Clay, is not respected in the society and circle of Islam for the next year from the date of this statement, an issue of Muhammad Speaks newspaper. Right? So, what now? Muhammad Ali is not respected in the society and the circle of Islam. So there's a brotherhood of Islam, right? There's a circle of the brotherhood of Islam, and then there's a society of Islam, right? Now the society of Islam is, in my opinion, what they would say is, in the Moorish Science Temple teachings, the adept chamber, or the individuals who are up here that know everything that's going on amongst all the members. They know everything that's going on. They're the ones that administer all the lessons, whatever. And everybody else is just there to raise up to the ranks of being in the circle or being in the brotherhood or being in the society. A second perspective is that they were taking the position, as far as society is concerned, of a common law position. That's why they keep making the statement that we are a nation of Islam, but they're not a nation. It's a private organization. They got 501c3. They get fiat from donors and stuff like that, just like the church, right? Not dues, like fiat from donors, like people giving them money, right? For example, Gaddafi giving Farrakhan money for the NOI to have hair care products. That we never seen. That's documented fact. That they got money to start up a hair products line or whatever like that. For the black community. That we never seen yet. Millions. It's not like 50,000 or whatever. They got millions of money. Millions of dollars from Gaddafi. Right? Yeah. Right? Now this is the part now that, right? Elijah Muhammad. This is the law which Allah gave to me, with which to punish my followers. Mr. Muhammad Ali shall not be recognized with us even under the holy name Muhammad Ali. We will call him Cassius Clay with us. We take away the name of Allah from him until he proves himself worthy of that name. This is the law of Allah to me. The government of America has known this law of Allah for many years. The law is to take the identity card away from you. This is written on the identity card in red letters. Mr. Cassius Clay did not have one of these cards. It is good that he did not have one. Nevertheless, we carry the principle into practice. Right? So, if you're supposed to get a card when you get your holy name, and then they didn't give him a card, then that means they were planning on ousting him. They already knew. It was a popularity contest for them. Make Muhammad Ali be member of, because Muhammad Ali, if he becomes the champion of the world or whatever, he's going to be tied to the Nation of Islam, which is going to give them popularity. Because remember, at that time, Malcolm X is ousted.
That's right.
And he was the one that was bringing the popularity to the Nation of Islam at that time.
That's right.
So they had to find a scapegoat to bring that popularity up, because they were losing popularity because El Hajj left. Right? Played Muhammad Ali. Right? Played him.
But it's interesting, like, hearing all this makes me think that Muhammad Ali getting his name was not even a right, but a privilege.
Right, exactly. If they can take it away. Exactly. Right? Which means, which verifies, which stresses the point that they're not a nation. Because you can't take away Mr. Yen's name from him because he doesn't want to be Buddhist. He wants to be Christian. He's still going to be Yao Yen as a Christian.
Right.
Right? So just wanted to put that out there for all you, Elijah Muhammad people, just so you know that they were nationalizing people up in the Temple of Islam. We'll call it what it is. Right? They were nationalizing people. They were issuing identity cards with stuff in there written in red letters and all that, and they were taking people's cards away if they weren't adhering to the principles of the Temple of Islam. And if they are giving people these cards with, as he says, holy names, because that's the law of Allah, and Allah said that, you're supposed to get a holy name or whatever, that means they were also in the process of denationalizing people after they bring them on board. Right? But like they said, they never gave him a card from the start, so it was almost like, he didn't even have the position of a holy name. They were just using him to.
So he didn't even get to choose his name.
They gave him this name. He was given that name.
Right. So right there, that was fraud.
Right there, that's fraud, because you're supposed to proclaim your nationality.
Yeah, that's right.
Right? Yeah, I mean, and technically he did, but he proclaimed it because somebody gave it to him. He didn't proclaim it out of his own free will. Like he was the one that went up there and said, "Yo, don't call me Cassius Clay. My name's Muhammad Ali, whatever." Okay, that was a nationalization proclamation or a nationality proclamation on the record, because that was on TV, went across all the world. You know what I mean? And he threatened people, if you call me Cassius Clay, I'll kick your ass or whatever. And people stopped calling him Cassius Clay. Right? That's why in the letter, Elijah Muhammad is saying, to us, he's going to be known as Cassius Clay, because you can't really take it away from.
Exactly. That's another thing that I was thinking. I mean, you can't really, if he makes that proclamation, you can't take it away from him.
Right.
Because he made the proclamation, regardless of whoever gave him the idea of the name or whatever, and he chose to take it. You can't take that back from him because he made the proclamation. It's on him.
He agrees with it.
He agrees with it.
Yep.
And maybe that's just what he's saying, that they gave him the name, rather than him actually coming to them and said, "Okay, I want to be called this." That's probably what
I can believe him being named.
I can believe that too.
Him not really thinking to make up a name. They give him the name.
Because remember,
like you said, the Ali part, you're not supposed to be named Ali.
Right. And then also keep in mind too that with him getting the name and making the statement that that's who he is or whatever, right? Making it a public record, for them to even try to take that away in a public forum would show the deviousness. That's why they just kept it in their paper, that they can, sell it to whoever they want to, okay, well, here's the stacks of papers, all right, but we're not going to this district of the city with this. All you're doing is you're just putting this amongst the membership or whatever, you know what I mean? Because this is something that was supposed to be out there. If he violated so bad, they should have had news conference and all that, ousting this man. You know what I mean? It's not supposed to be no secret thing and just in the paper only. If he did something so bad that you're ousting him, Secondly, there's a new video, God Bless America, Lil Wayne video, right?
Okay.
It's coming out or just came out or whatever, with Lil Wayne, quote unquote, walking all over the American flag. people are mad. That, oh, you know, you can't do that. Veterans are mad. You know, whatever. You know what I mean? Just right? The Patriots are upset that, you know, who's this nigger walking on the flag of our, you know what I mean? Yeah. You know, and just wanted to bring that up just to say that, you know, don't worry, you can walk on it because it's a star-spangled banner. Mm-hmm. It's not a flag. It doesn't represent no nation or whatever. It's a corporate banner. Mm-hmm. So leave the man alone, make him walk on the flag. Like, it's not no big deal. You know, nothing to, we don't have to go nuts or whatever on it. Just leave him alone. You know what I mean? Make him walk on the flag, trample on it if he wants to. You know what I mean? Because again, he's not a Moorish American, right? And you know, temple protocol, you know, Moorish American protocol, Moorish Divine and National Movement protocol is not to put any negative energy toward the flag. You know what I mean? Because the flag does represent the amity and commerce between the Moors and the Europeans in this land. So it is a legitimate flag of commerce, but it's not a national flag legitimately. Right. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's a banner from a national perspective, but as far as the commerce, admiralty, jurisdiction, then it's represented as a flag, but only from a commerce perspective. Is it a flag? Right? Next thing. Danish actor to play Egyptian god Ra. Right, so this petition going around. Sign a petition because, you know, this European can't play the Egyptian god. You know what I mean? It's like, you know, black people upset. You know what I mean? Oh, how are you gonna have this here? Oh, they're trying to Europeanize our culture, blah blah.
Why didn't they say something with Charlton
right?
Heston?
Yeah, right. Right. You know what I mean? Now everybody's mad. You know what I mean?
He's a known racist.
Yeah. Right. Right. So you could just go and you could just Google the article, right, or the petition, right? Danish actor to play Egyptian god Ra. Stop artistic team behind the goddess of Egypt from holding an all-white cast, right? But we just wanted to put on the record, right? The only reason why Danish actor could play Egyptian god Ra is because Egypt is all English, right? Egypt has nothing to do with dark-skinned people. Egypt is all English, right?
Part of the English language, the word.
All English. Egypt, Egypte. It's funny too,
IPT. Yeah,
right?
IPT.
Yeah. Okay, IPT. No.
What is it? IPT.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Right. All English though. Now, when we go to research Nwapians, Malachi York or whatever, he calls Egypt Egypt. Yeah. So how come so if he's supposed to be, you know, from another planet or whatever, you know, man of, you know, 360 books and, you know what I mean, he's the man. How come he's using the old English word to describe the name and try to say that, oh yeah, that, you know, that's our stuff, right? That's why they had jurisdiction on those clowns over there to go steal all their land in Atlanta, Georgia, and tear down all those pyramids that they built and all that because they were running a fraud. Because Egypt is all English.
Yeah.
Egypt. Go look it up. Any etymology dictionary will tell you. But not only all English, also French, Egypte, right? And also Greek, Aigyktos. Right? So Egypt is European. So they can have European actors play Ra and all that because it's European. That's not the jurisdiction of Kemet. Right? It goes on to say, Egypt, the river Nile, Egypt, from Amarna, Hikupata, Hikuptah.
Remember Taj?
Yeah,
Taj in
right?
Video mentioned
Exactly, right? The origin, the real name of Egypt, Hikuptah. But they're not calling it that. They're calling it Egypt. Even when you talk to, just like Tash said, when you talk to all the scholars or whatever, they're not talking about Hikupata. They're talking about ancient Egypt, the black Egyptians and all this type of stuff, right? Fraud, right?
You're not even in the right jurisdiction.
Yeah. Corresponding to Egyptian Ha-Ka-Ptah, temple of the soul of Ptah, the creative god associated with Memphis, the ancient city of Egypt. Strictly one of the names of Memphis. So Egypt is not even...
Egypt is another name.
Is another name for Memphis. Egypt's not even real. That's another name for Memphis.
They name the whole country Egypt.
Right? All right. It was taken by the Greeks as the name of the whole country.
Greeks will fuck.
So Egypt, yes, right? So Egypt is only a city, right? Egypt is not even the jurisdiction. Egypt is just a little city over there, that's really called Memphis. And the real name of the country is Hikupata.
So let me get this straight.
Right?
So Egypt,
yeah,
over there is really called Memphis.
Yeah, Egypt is really Memphis.
Okay.
Memphis was a city.
And Memphis was really a city by itself.
Okay.
And right? Egypt was just another term, I guess.
That the Greeks name.
That the Greeks name, right? The Egyptian name Kemet means black country. Possibly in reference to the rich delta soil. So all these people out there, all these chematologists, Kemet means the black people and the black land, so that means we're black people and all that. Garbage. Because we're not the land, so Kemet has no connection to people. Kemet is the name of the land. And the soil was black, so that's why they call it. Right? The Arabic is Mizr, M-I-S-R, which is derived from Mizraim, the name of the son of biblical Ham.
Yeah, that's right.
Right? Yeah. So Mizraim is also Egypt. That's another term now that they don't talk about. Right? They'll say Egypt every day, all day. But they're never going to bring up Mizraim. They're never going to bring up Memphis. And they're never going to bring up Hikupata. And they call themselves scholars and that we should follow them, buy all their books or whatever. Right? When they don't even know, who knows? Because if this is just in an etymology dictionary.
Oh, so that's just strictly...
Yeah, like this is just an etymology dictionary. This is not even go out and study for 100 years or whatever. This is just etymology dictionary. Look under Egypt and then it's going to tell you all this stuff right here.
That's a basic dictionary. Everyone can look at.
Anybody in the world could look at.
Doctors, lawyers, teachers, students, anyone can go and take a look at that. Right?
So watch out for petitions. Because there's people out there, they don't even know what the hell they're talking about. And they want you to follow them. Right? And the reason why we brought that up also is because Mizraim, the name of a son of biblical Ham, which goes into the whole Canaan, where we're going a little bit later, right? You can skip this one because that's not really nothing, right? Canaanland reportedly took part in a meeting between the leaders of the Lenni Lenape Nation and the leaders of the Pennsylvania colony under a large elm tree at Shakamaxon in the early 1600s. There, Canaanland is reported to have announced that the Lenni Lenape and the English colonists would live in peace as long as the watchers run in the rivers and creeks and as long as the stars and moon endure. And then this is a picture of Canaanland, and this is apparently a statue in Philadelphia or something like that, with a big eagle or something like that on his shoulder, right? Wearing a fez, and then he's standing on a turtle, which represents Turtle Island, and then it has a Moroccan star on the turtle, right? Like if you just look down there, right? And this is something that's sitting there, just like in the law dictionary, just sitting there. Anybody could go there, read it anytime. You know what I mean? Marley, barley. You know, read it anytime. And what are you eating, yo?
A lollipop.
Lollipop, yeah, lollipop. Right? Right, so everybody knows what's good, yo. And then we're playing around like everything's good, you say. Everybody's playing around. Everybody's playing around. Like we're not Moors or something. Like the Aboriginal and indigenous people of this land isn't us. Right? And again, you know, we know from especially from out here, you know, we know all we hear the so-called indigenous people over here talk about is Turtle Island or Turtle Island. This is Turtle Island. You know,
Yeah.
it's Turtle Island. All right, well, there's a man standing on the turtle with a Moroccan star in it. Right?
Yeah, this is called Turtle Island.
Everybody
It's called
knows.
Turtle Island as well. Yeah.
Everybody knows, right? This is old news, but just to put it on the record, Mariah Carey and Nick Cannon, the daughter's name Monroe, right? And their son is named Moroccan.
Really, eh?
Really?
Yeah,
The daughter's name is Monroe.
yeah. And the son's name is Moroccan. And the son's
They
name
know, eh? They know some stuff.
right? And the son's name after a room in their house called the Moroccan room.
Mm.
That's decked out in all Moroccan culture or
style.
whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, so Nick Cannon obviously knows something.
So people know what's
Yeah.
right? People know what's up.
Interesting.
Right?
Yeah, that's
I don't know if you saw
interesting
these ones. I don't know if you saw these ones. This one's been floating around right now.
Yeah.
This one.
These ones been floating around. The Miami Heat team wearing fezzes and all this stuff.
For Chris Bosh's
Right?
birthday,
For Chris
they did
Bosh's
a
Moroccan themed birthday party.
Really, yeah.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
It's interesting. Yeah.
you know, and
Chris Bosh too, right?
right? And you have to wonder, you know, why that theme?
Mm.
Why a Moroccan theme? You know, he says, oh, well, you know, when I was my friends from Morocco, you know, they inspired me to have this theme for birthday party. Okay, we can
say that.
you know, you can say that.
Straight
You know what I
up
mean?
blue fezzes,
We can
like-
say that.
Oh,
You know,
believe
we'll buy that. But you know, he is in Miami, which is in America, and he's having a Moroccan themed party. Right? And then there's Ray Allen, you know, getting his work in. Right?
Wow, Ray, eh?
Yeah,
What's his name?
right.
Rashad
Going hard,
Uh-huh,
Rashad
Rashad.
going hard, right?
Randy Fez.
Ray,
And
he's
there's-
rocking it, eh? Normal. He looks real, he looks
Right.
real comfortable. In the
Yeah.
fez.
And there's the birthday cake elephant, right, with the fez tassel,
Oh, really?
blue
Yeah.
tassel hanging down right there.
Okay.
And then he has the
Okay, okay.
the pineal gland or the elephant,
Mm-hmm.
right? There's the Star of David, right? Like I don't know what these guys are on, but they're hype. And then here's just one of the tents that they had, and then you just have just fezzes just sitting there stacked up just for people to come
Mm-hmm.
and
Put it on.
just
Wear it
you know,
party.
just, yeah, you know,
It's true.
Moroccan
Moroccan
theme.
theme.
You know,
It's part of
Moroccan
the
theme
theme.
party. It's part of the theme, so you know we're just gonna have fezzes just sitting
Buy a whole
there.
bunch of fezzes.
Yeah, so everybody
Anyway that
can-
comes, yeah.
Just buy a fez and rock a fez.
Okay.
Right? Okay. So let's get to the work for today. Today's work,
Wow.
right? The de facto curse of Canaan. Right? This fraudulent curse that people, mainly, you know, the historians and, you know, biblical scholars and whatever, try to put on the Moorish nation in order to get people to divert their attention away from the lineage and legacy of the Moors, right? So we're gonna go to Holy Quran, the Moorish Science Temple, the Moorish Holy Temple of Science, chapter The Beginning of Christianity. The foundation of Christianity began in Rome. The Roman nations founded the first church, of whom crucified Jesus of Nazareth for seeking to redeem his people from under the Roman yoke and law. Jesus himself was of the true blood of the ancient Canaanites and Moabites and the inhabitants of Africa. Seeking to redeem his people in those days from the pressure of the pale-skinned nations of Europe, Rome crucified him according to their law. Then Europe had peace for a long time until Muhammad the first came upon the scene and fulfilled the works of Jesus of Nazareth. The holy teachings of Jesus was to the common people to redeem them from under the great pressure of the hands of the unjust, that the rulers and the rich would not oppress the poor. Also that the lion and the lamb may lay down together, and neither would be harmed when morning came. These teachings were not accepted by the rulers, neither by the rich, because they loved the principles of the Ten Commandments. Through the Ten Commandments the rulers and the rich live, while the poor suffer and die. The lamb is the poor people, the lion is the rulers and the rich, and through love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, all men are one and equal to seek their own destiny, and to worship under their own vine and fig tree, after the principles of the holy and divine laws of their forefathers. All nations of the earth in these modern days are seeking peace, but there is but one true and divine way that peace may be obtained in these days, and it is through love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice being taught universally to all nations in all lands. Right? So that right there kills the whole idea of banish the Canaanites, kill the Canaanites, get rid of the Canaanites because they eat their children and whatever that they say Canaanites do, right? Because the only way that there's going to be peace on earth is through love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice being taught universally to all nations. All means everybody in all lands. And all lands means every landmass wherever people are domiciled. That love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice has to be the tenets that are expressed and that the people live by in order for there to be some type of universal balance. Obviously, we know that's not going on because everybody wants some of the Moorish birthright, because majority of people, because of how they've been treated by dirty Moors in the past, put them in slavery and whatever, right? They have this fear of us getting back in power again, right? Like, that's just what it is, you know what I mean? When we walk around with our fezzes on, you see people cringing of all nations, you know what I mean? You see some Somali people cringing when you wear fezzes around Somalians or whatever, because of what certain nations, again, taking the Moorish birthright, strapping on some dark-skinned people, make them go kill their own in a fez, just so that next time, anytime you see the fez, because, it's a documented fact that the Moors are going to come back. It's a documented fact that the Moors are the only ones that are capable of restoring cultures after they fall.
Restoring some order.
Yeah, like that's the only people who that's going to happen under is the Moors. It's not going to happen under any other nation of people.
Everyone else can go through the whole.
And they try. Yeah,
you can try.
They try, but it doesn't work, right?
Apparently, I think there's a few Moors in Ethiopia, because when I was walking through the airport in China, there was a whole bunch of, I want to say, Africans in one area waiting to catch planes, and I walked through, this guy stopped me, "You from Ethiopia?"
For real.
I'm like, no, because he was asking me, like, he's trying to figure out what gate to go to.
Yeah.
He came straight to me. I had my fez on and everything.
Oh, for real?
Yeah,
Okay.
the fez on and everything.
Okay.
He came straight to me. From Ethiopia? I'm like, no. I said, okay, because I was wondering what gate.
yeah, he was. He wanted to touch God. Right? Chapter Egypt, the capital empire of the dominion of Africa. The inhabitants of Africa are the descendants of the ancient Canaanites from the land of Canaan. Right? So the inhabitants of Africa are descendants of the ancient Canaanites from the land of Canaan. Old man Cush and his family are the first inhabitants of Africa who came out of the land of Canaan. His father Ham and his family were second. Then came the word Ethiopia, which means the demarcation line of the dominion of Amexem, the first true and divine name of Africa, the dividing of the land between father and son. The dominion of Cush, northeast and southeast Africa, and northwest and southwest was his father's dominion of Africa. In later years, many of their brethren from Asia and the Holy Lands joined them. The Moabites from the land of Moab, who received permission from the pharaohs of Egypt to settle and inhabit northwest Africa. They were the founders and are the true possessors of the present Moroccan Empire, with their Canaanite, Hittite, and Amorite brethren who sojourned from the land of Canaan seeking new homes. Their dominion and inhabitation extended from northeast and southwest Africa, across the great Atlantis, even unto the present North, South, and Central America, and also Mexico and the Atlantis Islands, before the great earthquake which caused the great Atlantic Ocean. The river Nile was dredged by the ancient pharaohs of Egypt in order to trade with the surrounding kingdoms. Also, the Niger River was dredged by the great pharaoh of Egypt in those ancient days for trade, and it extends eastward from the river Nile westward across the great Atlantic. It was used for trade and transportation. According to all true and divine records of the human race, there is no Negro, black, or colored race attached to the human family, because all inhabitants of Africa were and are of the human race, descendants of the ancient Canaanite nation from the holy land of Canaan. What your ancient forefathers were, you are today, without doubt or contradiction. There is no one who is able to change man from the descendant nature of his forefathers, unless his power extends beyond the great universal creator himself. These holy and divine laws are from the prophet Noble Drew Ali, the founder of the uniting of the Moorish Science Temple of America. These laws are to be strictly preserved by the members of all the temples of the Moorish Science Temple of America, and they will learn to open their meeting and guide it according to the principles of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Every subordinate temple of the Grand Major Temple is to form under the covenant of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, and to create their own laws and customs in conjunction with the laws of the Holy Prophet and the Grand Temple. I, the Prophet Noble Drew Ali, was sent by the great God Allah to warn all Asiatics of America to repent from their sinful ways, because before the great and awful day that is sure to come. The time has come when every nation must worship under its own vine and fig tree, and every tongue must confess his own. Through sin and disobedience, every nation has suffered slavery, due to the fact they honored not the creed and principles of their forefathers. That is why the nationality of the Moors was taken away from them in 1774, and the word Negro, black, and colored was given to the Asiatics of America who were of Moorish descent, because they honored not the principles of their mother and father, and strayed after the gods of Europe, whom they knew nothing. Right? So the Noble Drew Ali comes out and he founds the old Canaanite temple. Then the old Canaanite temple changed to the Moorish Holy Temple of Science. Now, why is the old Canaanite temple going to change to the Moorish Holy Temple of Science? Because Canaanites and Moors are the same people. Right? And then he teaches in the 101 questionnaire that the modern name of Moabites is Moors. And then we know Moabites from Ruth, who was a Moabite, whose descendants are David, Solomon, all of them, right? Who Yahshua comes out, quote unquote Jesus, which is why in the Christianity thing it talks about Jesus is a descendant of the Canaanites. Right? Because Canaanites are the Moabites. Yeah. And then the Moabites are the Moors. Right? Now, when we go to this story, there's all these interpretations of who is the cursed people. Who got cursed? The Ham get cursed or the Canaan get cursed? Right? Some of them say, oh yeah, Ham got cursed, because he was the one that was there. Then some of them is talking about, no, Canaan was the one that cursed because Canaan is the one that received the, right? Now, regardless of what, the curse is coming through allegorical sources called Bibles. Right?
It says in the Bible that it's out.
Right? Yeah. So if it's an allegorical source, right? Just for the simple fact that it's an allegorical source, we have to look at it not as what it is, what it says in the paper, right? So the sons of Noah who went forth from the ark were Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Ham was the father of Canaan. These three were the sons of Noah, and from these the whole earth was peopled. Noah was the first tiller of the soil. He planted a vineyard, and he drank of the wine and became drunk and lay uncovered in his tent. And right, and Ham, you know what I'm saying?
Good life, son.
And Ham, the father of Canaan, saw the nakedness of his father and told his two brothers outside. Then Shem and Japheth took a garment, laid it upon their shoulders, walked backwards, covered the nakedness of their father. Their faces were turned away, blah, blah, right? When Noah awoke from his wine and he knew what his youngest son had done with him, he said, "Cursed be Canaan." Right? A slave of slaves shall be his brothers. Shall he be to his brothers. He also said, "Blessed by the Lord, my God be Shem, and let Canaan be his slave. God enlarge Japheth, and let him dwell in the tenants of Shem, and let Canaan be his slave." After the flood, Noah lived 350 years on, and then everybody's upholding Noah. Oh my gosh, he lived to be 300 years old or whatever, right? Allegory, right? Now, Smith's Bible Dictionary. Right now, if we're gonna talk about these people called Canaanites, it's only be logical to look them up and see who these people are, right? And if they're so cursed, it should have something in the definition of Canaanites talking about, the curse or whatever. So you can go check all I already went and checked all the references, right? I already checked all the references, right? Yeah. You can check the Metaphysical Bible Dictionary, right? You can check the just the regular dictionary, right? You could any Bible dictionary that you can get, right? Encyclopedias or whatever, all of them are online. Just Google Canaanites. Right, I never checked there actually. I should have checked. Right, that's true. Google Canaanites. Just check Canaanites and see what comes up. Right. So in Smith's Bible Dictionary, right, the Canaanites, a word used in two senses. One, a tribe which inhabited a particular locality of the land west of the Jordan before the conquest, and two, the people who inhabited generally the whole of that country. Right? So nothing about curses or nothing like that. No. All right. In Genesis 10, verse 18 to 20, the seats of the Canaanite tribe are given as on the seashore and in the Jordan Valley, applied as a general name to the non-Israelite inhabitants of the land, as we have already seen with the case with Canaan. Instances of this are Genesis 12, verse 6, Numbers 21, verse 3. The Canaanites were descendants of Canaan. Their language was very similar to Hebrew. The Canaanites were probably given to commerce, and thus the name became probably in later times an occasional synonym for merchant. Right? So the Canaanites are really merchant people, are really people who deal in commerce, right? And who are the Moors today? People who deal in commerce, people who set up the trade, people who set up the business for the United States under the guise of Morocco, and then they set up a banner called Amity and Commerce Banner. So directly, Canaanites are related to that, or quote-unquote Moors, right?
It sounds like the Canaanites are the true Jews then.
All right, right? Let's go further, right? Now they talk about that curse, right? Curse, noun, late Old English, curse, C-U-R-S, a prayer that evil or harm befall one. Right? Of uncertain origin, perhaps from Old French chorus, which means anger. So a curse isn't what we think curse is. A curse is just man was angry, and you know, obviously angry, you're sitting there naked or whatever, and man's not coming to cover you up. Like, yeah, you be angry and you're gonna curse some bad words for that. But you're not gonna curse a generation of somebody or whatever, and you know, well, yeah, your family's gonna be slave of people and all that just because they didn't cover you up when you, like, you're just cussing him. You're just cussing him. You know what I mean? At one time, you're just cussing him. Just get him with some bad words. You know what I mean? And you know, prayer that evil or harm befall one or whatever. But it's not nothing that how people look at it that we're gonna, you know, well, we don't want to have nothing to do with Canaanites because you know we're cursed forever. You know, yeah, you touch them, you know, you're gonna have leprosy and all this type of stuff, right? And then curse verb, Old English, cursing, from the source of curse, meaning to swear profanely. Right? So Noah was just straight cussing Ham out. Yeah. Right? For being, he was already drunk, for being a little nigga, right? Yeah, and you know how it goes. I know everybody remembers freaking Delirious, right? Everybody remembers Delirious with Eddie Murphy with the uncle, and you have the drunk uncle, right? Right? And the drunk uncle just cussing everybody, right? That was Noah right there, just cussing Ham out, right? Nothing too serious, you know. In the morning, you wake up, give him a hug, give him a kiss, you know. Sorry, I didn't, you know, I was drunk, my bad, right? So there's no, so we can get over the whole, you know, we're cursed forever. The Canaanites are cursed, you know what I mean? They have all these stuff and they're whatever. So Noble Drawley was right and exact when he made the statement that we are descendants of those people. And founding the organic temple as Old Canaanite Temple. Because logically, you're going to have to name it after the first people if you're trying to bring these Negro, black, colored people back into the state of who they are. You're going to have to call them what they were called first. Right? Now, Noble Drawley also mentioned the Hittites. Right? Canaanites, Hittites, Amorite brethren who sojourned from the land of Canaan seeking new homes and all that. Right? So Hittite. Of or pertaining to Indo-European people whose empire covered much of modern Turkey and Syria, from Hebrew Hitti, from Hittite Hatti. The Bible use, Genesis XV verse 20, refers to Canaanite or Syrian tribes that probably were genuine scions of the Hittites. They were called Kitta or Keta in Egyptian. Right? And like we said already, you know, if you check the map or whatever, right? So you got the map, then you look at the map, and then you see where, you know, Lebanon is. Lebanon, Syria, Israel, Jordan, all that was jurisdiction of Canaan, right?
Saudi Arabia,
right?
Iraq.
Like the whole thing is Canaan, right? And then Saudi Arabia, Iraq, all that is Moab, right? When you check the maps, right? Now the Canaanites were also the Phoenicians, but nobody doesn't call the Phoenicians cursed people. Now the Phoenicians came out of the Canaanites, but nobody calls the Phoenicians cursed people and doesn't want to affiliate with them. Everybody's down with the history of the Phoenicians, and because then Phoenicia goes into Carthage and Hannibal and all that, and nobody doesn't call Hannibal the curse guy. Everybody, the black general. You know what I mean? We honored, you know, went across the Alps with elephants and all that. You know, what happened to the Canaan curse? If he's descendant of Canaan and Canaan's curse, then isn't he supposed to be in the thing? But no. Right? So everybody's going to draw the lines or whatever, separate stuff, make up their little, you know. So you see where we're going. We're going with the whole exposing the curse, the de facto curse, And let's give Canaanites the honor that they deserve, because all these people that we uphold today, Moors included, come from the Canaanites. And these weren't some pale Arabs like we see in Saudi Arabia today or whatever. We're talking about people who look like us. Right? Nappy hair like wool, skin like burnt brass, and all that.
All that stuff.
Right? So Phoenicia, an ancient Semitic civilization. Semitic family includes the ancient and modern forms of Alamu, Akkadian, Assyrian, Babylonian, Amharic, which is Ethiopia's, right?
Right.
Amorite, Arabic, Aramaic, Syriac, Canaanite, Carthaginian, Chaldean, Eblite, Edomite, Giz, going back to the Ethiopians again, Hebrew, Maltese, Mandaic, Moabite, Sutian, Tigre, Tigre, and Tigriya, and Ugaritic, situated in the western coastal part of the Fertile Crescent and centered on the coastline of Lebanon. Right? So, Lebanon's right here, right? And all this right here, going across the top of Egypt, and then if we kept this going, you're going into Tunis, Tripoli, Morocco, all of that was Phoenicia and Carthage, right? Which all goes back to the Moors, right? Now, interesting, before we go there, Maltese.
Yeah,
so
that was the interesting one.
Right, yeah, Maltese, right? So, Brother Tallahassee goes to the hospital or whatever, chilling at the hospital. This man, next to him, older man or whatever, in a wheelchair or something like that, just at the hospital. They start building.
They start just talking.
They start talking, you know what I mean? And then this man's telling Brother Tallahassee about Malta and the Moors of Malta and all this stuff. And all the, yeah, he's from Malta. Yeah, the old man's from Malta. And he starts just hitting him about the Moors and their influence on Maltese culture. You know what I mean? Right? And that always happens after somebody draws your card, where are you Jamaican, or where are you from, or whatever. Oh, I'm a Moor. Oh, you're a Moor? Oh, well, and then they start spilling the beans, right? Conversation gets built up, right? So when we go to Lebanon now, right? The top flag is the Lebanon flag, right? The Cedars of Lebanon, right? And the reason why I'm showing this is because on our plates out here, we have the Bunker Hill flag on our plates, right? When we rock with the Moorish plates, right? Tags, plates, whatever, right?
That's a Lebanese flag?
Yeah, this is the Lebanese flag on the top, right? So when we, so when we know, I get stopped by Popo, right? And they're looking at the Bunker Hill flag and they keep asking me, yo, are you from Lebanon or whatever? Why you have a Lebanon flag in Canada and whatever? You're not from Lebanon, right? I'm trying to explain to them, this is not Lebanon. This is the Bunker Hill flag. What's the Bunker Hill flag? Well, I don't know what that is. This is the Lebanon. Like
the police doesn't know
he's trying to convince me that this is a Lebanese flag, right? So we're going over the thing, And at the time, I didn't really know, really. You know what I mean? Like, I just knew that wasn't the Lebanon flag. I didn't know what the Lebanon flag was, to be honest with you. But I know that there was a cedar tree on it. That's why he made the relation, right? Yeah. You know what I mean? So you check the colors, right? Realize the colors are identical. There's a tree on it. There's a white canton. Well, I mean, this is a white canton, but this white stripe with the tree in it is all relative to the story. You know what I mean? Of the cedar tree, and the cedar tree with the pine cones, the pineal gland, and whatever. Like the full stuff is going on. You know what I mean? Right? So I just want to show this, just to show the relation between Lebanon and the Canaanites and the Phoenicians, which comes back to the Moors, and the Bunker Hill flag, which is the real American flag. and the Moroccan flag is the real American flag, and the stars and stripes sits between this flag and the Moroccan flag.
So
And that's the only time that it's legit. If it's just flying by itself, and these flags, this flag's not in appearance, and the Moroccan flag's not in appearance, fraud.
So that's the current Lebanese flag.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Lebanon flag.
Yeah.
Wow.
Right. So back to Phoenicia.
I'm thinking Libya. That's
Oh yeah.
That's what it is. Oh, yeah, okay,
Right?
that's what it is. Yeah.
So all major Phoenician cities were on the coastline of the Mediterranean. Some colonies reaching the western Mediterranean, it was an enterprising maritime trading culture that spread across the Mediterranean, right? So the Phoenicians, Canaanites, goes back to the same thing, right? That they were merchants, right? And everybody knows that the Phoenicians were those people. The Phoenicians were the people who basically carried on that so-called trade, right? The Phoenicians were the ones that carried on the trade, and you know, they were the ones that had the ships and all that stuff and were able to go wherever they had to go, right? Now, we're talking about the curse of Canaan, right? And we're just going to go quickly to the curse of Canaan. Everybody seen this book or whatever, right? Eustace Mullins. And then they passed the book. Because, Canaanites, we don't want to touch this book because, we're running from the cursed people, right? And this book fell into my lap like years ago when we used to have the library, right?
Even has the Demonology of history.
Yeah, the Demonology of history, right?
Where was the place we used to have on Kingston?
Yeah, the cultural center. Yeah. Right?
It's by Kingston and Wall.
And Morningside. Right? On page 8, the curse of Canaan was extended to the land which was named after him, the land of Canaan. The Canaanites themselves, the people of this land, became the greatest curse upon humanity, and so they remain today. Right? Remember, we're talking about how the Phoenicians were the traders, and everybody wanted to be with the Phoenicians because they had the Mediterranean on lock, and nobody couldn't bring boats in there or whatever like that because that was their jurisdiction. Right? How come cursed people have so much power?
Yeah.
Right? Not only did they originate the practices of demon worship, occult rites, child sacrifice, and cannibalism, but as they went abroad, they brought these obscene practices into every land which they entered. Not only did they bring their demonic cult to Egypt, but known by their later name Phoenicians, as they were called after 1200 BC, they became the demonizers of civilizations through successive epochs. Being known in medieval history as the Venetians, who destroyed the great Byzantine Christian civilization, Moors, right? Later, as black nobility, which infiltrated the nations of Europe, Moors, right? And gradually assumed power through trickery, revolution, and financial legerdemain. The reputation of Canaan is found in many ancient records, although its foul history has been carefully expunged from even more of the historic archives and libraries, blah, blah, right? Keynote, cannibalism, right, or cannibalism doesn't come from people eating their own people or whatever. Cannibalism comes from Canaan and Baal. Cannibal, or worshippers of Baal. And then, then you go into the story of them having the sacrifices to Baal or whatever, children's sacrifices or whatever, right? But it comes back again to the whole fact that if these people are so demonic and devilish or whatever, how come they uphold Hannibal so high? Hannibal, cannibal, right? How come, right? Hannibal was a cannibal.
Yeah, that's what I thought
Right.
the connection was there, like Carthage and Hannibal.
Yeah, right. You know, but again, it comes back to the whole demonization of the Moors, right? So they use the European, right, to play the role of this psychotic maniac that eats people named Hannibal, right? And he happens to be a cannibal, right? But then cannibal comes from Canaanites and Baal, and then Hannibal was a Phoenician or Carthaginian, right, from Phoenicia or from Carthage, who were descendant of Canaanites or whatever, all to tell the whole story of just demonic everything with these people, all to distract Negro black color people who are going to read the Bible away from the legacy, the history of the Moors by detaching the Canaanites from their mind. And once you detach, you know, it's just like how they detach Moors from the people mind. You know, they have people could look up Blackamoor and see black plus capitalized Moor, but they're not going to call themselves Moor. They're going to call themselves the smaller case black, right? Phoenicians are widely thought to have originated from the earlier Canaanite inhabitants of the region. In the Amarna tablets of the 14th century BC, people from the region called themselves Kenani or Kenani, Kenaani or Kianaani, probably same as Canaanites. Right? It is said that they call themselves Canaan instead of Phoenician because Phoenicians is a name given to them by the Greeks. And as Western science derives from Greece, we use their words as our own. But real Phoenicians didn't call themselves that way. Real Phoenicians called themselves Canaanites. Right? So even the Phoenicians, so we're going to get there, where that's coming from, right? So even the Phoenicians called themselves Canaanites, right? So where'd that come from? That comes from this article I found about a hill called Pedra de Gavea. It's a hill in Brazil, right? In the southern part of the city of Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, right beside the beach, there is a steep mountain that rises 842 meters, 2,760 feet above sea level. It has a sheer rock face and is known as Pedra de Gavea. Besides being a beautiful sight with rugged face and its base covered with lush tropical vegetation, it is also intriguing because it has some strange marks on its face that have been said to be man-made inscriptions. This is just one of the many pre-Hispanic inscriptions found in Brazil. Today's post will review them with a critical eye. So right here, so this is the route that they say the Phoenicians took to get from Phoenicia to South America, to Brazil. Right? So they went from Phoenicia, Lebanon, Syria, whatever area, across the Mediterranean, right? Around the west coast of Africa, you know, pretty much a slave trade route. Right. Before the slave trade. Right? So before the slave trade, these guys took the slave trade route to come to South America. Right? And these are the same people that they say that they took from, because, you know, Carthage is North Africa, Morocco, you know, Ghana, all these places are part of the Carthaginian Empire. Right? In 1839, Juanerio de Cunha Barbosa and Arajo Porto Alger posted a paper in the Instituto Histórico Brasileiro, IHGB, journal on the possible existence of ancient inscriptions on the Pedra de Gavera. In their article, they concluded that after an in loco inspection, that they were not sure if these inscriptions were real or not, and suggested that the Institute should undertake a deeper investigation. Nearly 1 century later, in 1920, the matter was taken up again by a scholar, actually a retired industrial magnate, who of humble origins and became an orphan at a young age, later made his fortune as a natural rubber tapper, named Bernardo Azevedo Silva Ramos, 1858 to 1931. Silva Ramos was a self-educated archaeologist and historian, president of the Instituto de Manaos. Living in Manaos in the Amazon, he compiled several hundreds of Phoenician inscriptions from that region. He published, with government support, a book on native inscriptions in America, in which he dealt with Gavea's inscriptions. Below is an image of these inscriptions and their translation according to Silva Ramos. So this is the rock face right here.
This is in South America.
Yeah, this is in South America, right? In South America, and then there's this rock face in South America that has these inscriptions, right? In the green box, right? The inscriptions read or is translated as Tyro Phoenicia, firstborn Jethbal, right? A cryptic phrase which has a historical backing. Badazir ruled Phoenicia from 855 to 850 BC, and he was the son of Jethbal, who ruled from 887 to 856. Right? So all this coming, so the Phoenicians being called Canaanites or whatever comes. So this is what the face looks like, right? So this is the face right here. Right? And then where the arrow's pointing is where the inscription is.
But it's like they tagged the brick.
Yeah, basic graffiti.
Go up
Yeah,
there and they put them up high, and you're like, how they get up there and put the mark?
Yeah,
That guy owns it.
That guy owns the thing because he went up there and put this inscription. I was here. Right? Right?
Yeah.
So the Phoenicians were in Brazil and they carved
In the 1800s.
in the 1800s, right?
BC.
Yeah.
After.
Yeah.
Don't get it confused.
Don't get it
After
right.
BC.
They did this, right? Now keep in mind, right, that the rock face, right now, this is the side of the rock face right here, right? And then if you look at this side right here, that's straight a man's face right there. There's his nose right there. There's his mouth right there. And there's the eyes right there, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, so if that's the eyes, and then that's the nose, and then that's his mouth right there, then that's a fez that he's wearing right here. Right?
Looks somewhat disgruntled.
Yeah, he looks pretty angry. Right? He looks pretty angry.
That
Right?
really looks like a rock.
Yeah, it does. Big rock. Right? You may expect that Badazir has some name made up by Silva Ramos and therefore lacking evidence to back it up. However, the name is true and it exists on a list of the kings that had reigned in Tyre, published by Romano Jewish historian Josephus, and he in turn cites a Phoenician author of the 2nd century BC, Menander Ephesus.
Say the name again?
Menander
Okay.
of Ephesus. Menander. Right? Where Ithobalus and Jethbal and Badazarus is Badazir. By the way, the biblical Jezebel is the daughter of Jethbel. She married the king of Israel, Ahab, and led him astray from Jehovah, inducing him to tolerate the cult of Baal. Right? And that's 1 Kings. Right? And then here's the next picture of the rock face again. Right? From the angle of the bottom or whatever, you know, with the eyebrow, you know, right? Yeah, it's like you just have to look at it and just be amazed that, yeah, these are the Canaanites, right? The ancient Canaanites.
So what was the
Face of the sleeping
translation
giant.
of the inscription?
There's an English one somewhere. It's on one of I think it's on one of those two right there. Something about Jeff Ball or something. Yeah, right there. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Right. And then again, when we look at this one, right, it's called the face of the sleeping giant, right?
That's the same. That's the same.
Yeah, right. Face of the sleeping giant, right?
The face of the sleeping giant?
Yeah. Right. And here's another one. This one more looks like, you know, something.
A beard, everything.
Yeah. Exactly. Right.
That means a beard face.
Okay. And all this is dealing with these people that people want to bash and say that they have nothing to do with these people, right? But they're coming over here from the east. They're coming over here and they're inscribing. They're doing their graffiti, right? Putting stuff in stone, right? BC, before other people, right? The Amarna letters, sometimes called Amarna correspondence or Amarna tablets archive on clay tablets, mostly diplomatic correspondence between the Egyptian administration and its representatives in Canaan and Amuru during the New Kingdom. The letters were found in Upper Egypt at Amarna, and the modern name for the Egyptian capital of Akhetaten, El Amarna, founded by Pharaoh Akhenaten, 1350s to 1330s BC, during the 8th dynasty of Egypt. Amuru was an Amorite kingdom located in the territory that spans modern western and northwestern Syria and northern and modern Lebanon, which made up northern Syria during the 14th and 12th centuries BC. The first documented leader of Amaru was Abdi Ashirta, under whose leadership Amuru was part of the Egyptian Empire. His son Aziru made contact with the Hittite king Sapilu Liluma I and eventually defeated the Hittites, or defected the Hittites. Right? And then this again just shows the jurisdiction of the Phoenicians and how they controlled the whole trade in the Mediterranean. Right? From over here, their hub, right? Across the Mediterranean, into the continent, up into Spain, Europe, all that. Right? And then again, we know that these were the Moors.
Yeah, I mean, I think I sent you the email with the old map from early
with all
1500s,
the maps.
and that area was called Barbaria.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And then Barbaria or Barbary is where they get Berber and barbarian from. You know what I mean? Because of the whole same thing again. Conan the Barbarian was the Moor that was going around slaying all these people coming out the caves or whatever. Right?
They put Arnold Schwarzenegger in. But
Yeah. Well, I mean, but remember, Schwarzenegger is that's a Moor,
right? Black plower. Not even plower like one that plows the field. That's what
Schwarzenegger. The nigger Schwartz, right? So they got the guy, just like Neo, right? They got Neo, they got Buddy there, Keanu to play the role of he's Hawaiian.
Oh,
yeah, he's Hawaiian.
Yeah, right.
His name means something.
Yeah, his name means something too. Yeah, right. Okay, and then this one just shows Amaru. Right, again comes back to the same. It's all in the same area. The Canaanites, Canaan, Palestine, Babylon, right? All these places that people want to bash and say whatever, but when it comes to later history, they're trying to attach to that and say that they have something to do with that, right? You know what I mean? Right. Back to Canaan. Canaan is an inact, ethic, and geographical term. However, it is a location familiar from the Bible. The Israelites, or Canaan was a province of Egypt's empire.
Isn't that what Noble Dwelly said?
Right, exactly. Right?
Say that again?
Canaan was a province of Egypt's empire. Right? So what Noble Dwelly was doing was he was tying all these, this scattered mirror that we had from Bible teachings and whatever. He was putting all the pieces together, right? Trying to organize everything so we can see the bigger picture and understand really why we're the Moors,
Right.
and how everybody comes from this stock of people, right? That everybody says they have nothing to do with, right? Canaan refers to the promised land of the ancient Israelites. Sometimes it was limited to from the area west of Jordan River to the Mediterranean on the west with a northern boundary somewhere in Lebanon. Sometimes it goes through Syria, Palestine, Lebanon, and north to Ugarit. Those known to us as Phoenicians lived in Canaan. Sometimes Canaan is the area inhabited by residents of ancient Palestine. Sometimes it refers to descendants of Noah's son, Ham's son, Canaan. The promised land was Canaan, a place named after the son of Ham and the grandson of Noah, located between the Jordan River, the Dead Sea, and the Mediterranean. It was bounded on the south by Egypt, to the north by Assyria. At some points, it also included Transjordan, the area to the east of the Jordan River. Canaan was inhabited by Canaanites, a Semitic people speaking a language very similar to Hebrew. The Canaanites were mostly farmers and few were nomads, but they had a civilized and advanced culture. The 7 Canaanite tribes dwelled in 31 fortified city-states that were constructed using the great Mesopotamian cities as their model. Each city-state was ruled by its own sovereign. Each of the city-states was ruled by its own sovereign. Right?
I was just thinking, it seems like in this area, there seems to be so much more happening than in
Islam,
America, than in America in itself.
Right.
During this time.
Yeah.
So it seems like we were just chilling and relaxing while they were always in this
Always in this
battling and stuff for
exactly. Right. In an Egyptian hieroglyphic dictionary by E.A. Wallace Budge, 1920. Canada. Egyptian name Kent, K-H-E-N-T. From Kayanata, K-A-H-Y-E-H-N-A-T-A. From the Iroquois Tribal Confederation name Canandaigua, K-A-N-A-D-A-I-G-W-A. Canandaigua means first descendants of Canaan. Right? This is the Iroquois talking now. Right?
This is from an Egyptian hieroglyph.
Yeah, this is from Egyptian hieroglyph.
Down in hieroglyphs.
Right? Egyptian hieroglyph dictionary.
So if you're writing it in hieroglyphs, it's
Yeah.
2,000.
Yeah.
One second.
You know what I'm saying?
Yo, run that
Right.
again, please. Rewind selector, please.
Egyptian name. Right? Egyptian name. Kent. K-H-E-N-T.
For Canada.
Right? For Canada.
So Kent means Canada.
No,
Kent
but the
means
thing
Canada.
Is, if you're writing this in a hieroglyphic dictionary or encyclopedia or description, that means this was named thousands of years ago.
Right.
Yeah.
Not just recently.
Not
Right.
recently. Not 1867 when
Right.
they said, yeah, we're founding this place and we're going to call it Canada.
Right, right.
Yeah.
We're gonna call it Canada.
Yeah.
No,
It
we
was
already
that.
knew it was named.
You already knew it was that.
It was
You
named.
just inherited that name.
So yeah, start from the beginning again,
Okay.
please.
So Canada. Egyptian name Kent. Khent. Kahyehnata. Kanyanata. From the Iroquois Tribal Confederation name Canandaigua. Kanadigwa, which means first descendants of Canaan, the garden land, the land of milk and honey. The Daigwa, Daigwa suffix to the name is the dowager or dowry, the matriarchal first descendants. It was a matriarchal society at that time. A similar name is Onondaga, Onondaga, first dowagers, first matriarchal descendants. Right? So Canaan, Canaan, first descendants of Canaan, and Daigwa, Daigwa, first matriarchal descendants, right? Goes right in line with the story about Niagara Falls and how it was matriarchal over here, and they called Niagara Falls Nigger Falls because they used to throw the sisters over the falls when they used to come over here to raid the land, and after they couldn't get furs and stuff like that no more with the Hudson Bay Company, right? They started going after the people because they couldn't get any more wealth from the land. So they had to get the people's wealth, which stayed with the females. Right? Right?
This is on
Nigger
the walls
of Kemet. The walls of Kemet, it's talking about Canada on there. Right? And then we have Museum of Anatolian Civilizations in Ankara. The Canaanite god El. Right? Doing the Egyptian, right? Walk like the Egyptian pose. Right? Right? We all know the Cone Fez. You could just go to, Grand Sheikh Daweed Ali L's page on Facebook, and you can see him wearing the Cone Fez. So you know it's real, right? Something called that, right? Phoenicians bringing gift to the Persian king, right? So there's the Phoenicians bringing gifts to the Persian king, and the Persian king's wearing a fez. They have a big beard, looking like brothers. And then there's the Phoenicians, looking like brothers with their turbans. And then brother even in the front even looks like, Taj with the afro underneath the fez or whatever, busting out. Right? Right? Ancient Taj. Right? Okay. Right? And then the bottom is a Libyan, a Canaanite, a Syrian, and a Nubian bow to the Pharaoh. Right? And then look at all of them, and you can see that all of them are dark-skinned people. Right? No matter that they're bowing to the Pharaoh, don't watch that. Because I'm pretty sure the Pharaoh's a brother too. So it's not no big deal. It's just showing reverence.
And they're definitely dark skinned because their robes are white.
Yeah, you can see their robes, right?
So you can't even question.
Clearly. Right? Palace of Ashurnaspiral II, Phoenician bringing monkeys, Neo-Assyrian. Right? And there again, brothers again, bearded up, afros. Right? You could tell that these are some brothers right here. Just by their, look at the forearms even. You know brothers got forearms. Right? You know these are brothers. Okay? Right? Another picture of a god, Nerib Tum, 1700 BC. The god wears a low cap with a pair of horns meeting above each face. He carries a scimitar in his right hand and places his left foot upon the back of a crouching ram. Right? And you can just look at that beard there, right? You know that's some natties. It's the natty beard. Right? It's very obvious that the ancient Phoenician, Assyrian, Syrian, Canaanite, Carthage, whatever is straight brothers, right, and sisters. Okay, and we have to start throwing out the baby with the bathwater and reclaim all this stuff because we're not claiming it, other people are claiming it, and then they're abusing us with our own stuff, right? Canaanite goddess, possibly Atherat. You know, any sister with a nose and lips like this, you know that's sister, right? Locks, you know that's sister.
Yeah, locks and then like a solid. The hair is solid.
Yeah.
I've seen some pictures of I want to say African Moors with like thin locks and then like clamped down the hair all together, and it's like a helmet. Yeah.
Like a helmet. Yeah. Right. Right. Why? It's good old Clark Kent from Superman, also known as Kal-El from Krypton, where he was born. Yeah, Kal-El. Right? In the new one, they go nuts.
Yeah, I saw the new one. All the little
they go nuts in the new one. They go nuts. Right? Like Moorish movie.
Yeah.
Straight Moorish movie. Right? El is the ancient Canaanite god for the planet Saturn. This has been gone over previously in this thread. Superman's father is Jor-El. Notice how Superman wears red and blue with a little yellow. The red, as they say, is the Hyksos bloodlines of Egypt. Right? And then we know now that there's no Hyksos of Egypt or whatever that invaded Egypt or whatever. Those were straight brothers. There's not no Europeans during BC time. Right? Like, we're not even gonna go there, right? You know what I mean? And then the Hyksos are related to the Amalekites. So go look up Amalekites, right? Amalekites. Amalekites. Right? And then they say the blue represents Set. This is why red and blue are so important in flags and more. The yellow will represent Jupiter. Now red is also the color of the planet Mars, the god of war. Mars' alchemy symbol is the male symbol. Now what is the weakness of the male? It's the female who overpowers him. What weakens Kal-El? Kryptonite. What is the color of kryptonite? Green. Green represents Venus, or the flag in our star.
Yeah.
Right?
With
the red background. Right? What's her alchemical symbol? It's a female symbol. It's a generative principle. The good and bad, dualism, light and night, etc. Notice how the Statue of Liberty is really Venus. And it's green. Because it was done on purpose, because Venus element is copper. And the statue is made of copper, which turns green with oxidization. Because Kent is an old name for Egypt, right? Going back to Right? Because Kent is an old name for Egypt,
Clark Kent.
right? Linked to Kent of Upper Egypt, where Zion was located, right? Zion, right? So Kent of Upper Egypt, Khent, represents Zion. And then Canaan is known as the Promised Land, right? And then Canaan is called Kent, which is really Canada, which is where the slaves said the Promised Land is when they're going to escape slavery going on the on the transit on the underground railroad, right? Crazy.
It is crazy.
Crazy.
Oh my gosh.
Right?
And that's all outside of the fact that he gets power from the sun and
yeah, and all the rest of it, right?
That's
all the rest
all
of it.
that, yeah.
Right? All the rest of it. Okay? Right? So Noble Drew Ali wasn't some weirdo. He didn't know what he was doing. Like, he was on point with what he was doing. He was on point. And his point was to put together that scattered mirror that we were looking at in pieces, thinking that we have something. Right? If we go around and, you know, it's just like today with, you know, Moors always pushing for, you know, oh yeah, you know, how come the Moors aren't united and the Moors need to unite and whatever. But then everybody got fezzes on, which is unity. Then everybody has one flag behind them, which is unity. And everybody's nationality card has, you know, a handshake, which is unity. Right? Everybody's charter has the same imagery on it or whatever, which is unity. Everybody says Islam to each other, right? Which is unity. But they're saying that we need unity. Right? And we don't need unity with passive, religious, or dirty Moors. What those Moors need to do is get active. That's where the unity is going to come in. The unity is going to come when the Moors out there who have information stop playing like they have information and they have to, you know, right? You know, they have to deliver the information to the people in the right way because the people aren't going to get it. What do you mean you're not going to get it? Noble Drew Ali already did all that. Broke it down simple. You're not Negro, black, colored, Ethiopian. You're Moors. Like, the first lesson, start there. If people can't pass that, don't even tell them about no Phoenicians, Canaanites, and all that. Because they're not even going to know what you're talking about. Right? Leave out the nonsense, the other stuff. Stick to the protocol. You're not Negro, black, colored. That's the first lesson. And the hardest lesson that it is to teach. Because it doesn't click that you're not black. No matter if you bring the dictionary. Yeah. Oh, you're not black. Oh, what do you mean I'm not black? Right? But then, you know, like I was saying last night to some brothers online, you know, they're gonna, you know, bash and whatever, or, you know, you're disrespectful, you know, you're talking to our people like that and whatever. But, you know, police is killing our brothers every day, and you guys sitting down doing nothing about it.
So,
you know what I mean? You're doing nothing about it.
you're insulted by my words.
Yeah,
Insulted by my words. You know what I mean? What kind of minority slave mentality is that? That you letting words insult you? You know?
Well, yeah, I always find it interesting how people mix darkness with black, and they'll substitute, you know, coming out of the darkness into the light, coming out of the blackness into the light.
Yeah.
Like, no, it's darkness, and one is, they're synonymous, but one is different than the other. And I was thinking about this the other day. Let somebody go to a store and say, I want a dark shoe.
Yeah.
I want to buy a dark T-shirt.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You go to the store, I want a black T-shirt, I want a blue T-shirt. You don't say a dark T-shirt.
A dark T-shirt.
So,
You know what I mean? Yeah. So when they bring the dark T-shirt out, they're bringing you 50 T-shirts. A dark blue, dark orange, dark. You know what I mean?
Dark everything.
how much battery is left on? This right here? This in this corner right here. How much percent?
Yo,
Up here.
that one? Yeah.
15.
Oh gosh, man. Oh gosh. Oh gosh. Huh? Headphones? In my jacket right there, hanging up. Right? So we got some time, so we're gonna go and just to bring that perspective again, just so we can see
Yo, I gotta go over this class again.
that Noble Drew Ali was really coming to bring us our freedom. You know what I mean? That we didn't want, because we wanted to be friends and we wanted to beg for stuff and all that. When there's no need for none of that. You know what I mean?
That Canada, Kent on the walls of Egypt, that right
Yeah.
there got me.
That's
right there.
Yeah.
That
That one
me.
hit
And
us
it was a
too.
matriarchal society.
Yeah. Right.
So,
Because when we take, like if we can put it on the record. Throw everybody out the window. Throw Taj out the window. Throw Aleem out the window. Throw Sister Raz out the window. Fantes, Anaid, Cujo. Throw everybody out the window. If you go and read what Noble Drew Ali laid down, and you take some time with it.
yeah,
Cause the man was deep, yo. Drew Ali was no joke, huh? Like, he was no joke. People just look, oh yeah, that's the black guy that came with it. Nah, that's the prophet right there. You know what I mean? And man said, everything I say is spirit.
Yeah.
So you more better heed what I'm saying. Because everything I say is spirit. And people are going to bypass him. Nah, we don't want to hear about that guy. I don't care about Noble Drew Ali. I'm not no more. I'm black. I'm Nubian. You know what I mean? I'm from Kemet. You know? When he laid it all out. Right? He laid it all out for everybody. You know, because like he said, for the nations he came. He didn't just come for the Moors. You know? And that's what Moors take it at. Well, he came for the Moors. So, we have a prophet. You don't have a prophet. So you need to get down with, no, he's their prophet too. He's everybody's prophet. You know what I mean? All those Europeans supposed to be giving up that Euro Jesus and give up Constantine and all that and get down with the Moors.
Yeah,
because what was going on? When you go talk to, anybody in that Mediterranean jurisdiction, you know what I mean? You already know, right? You know what I mean? They'll tell you that, when the Moors were around, like stuff was popping when the Moors were around. We had like 80 schools to go to. We could walk streets late at night, street lights and all that stuff, running water. Golden Age of the Moors, yo, the amount of stuff, right? So Drew Ali's warnings and prophecies, and this is from the oral statements of Noble Drew Ali, right? That, you can just go online and you can even just Google that and listen to some of the things that this man's talking about, right? The times that have been won't be no more. Right? Again, every word I speak is spirit, so you more is better heed. The times that have been won't be no more. Right? Look around, and where you see people, one day wild animals will be roaming down the street. Right? That's when you're talking about all these areas that got depopulated, that they're getting ready to go build up some 99 story some 99 story condos and hotels or whatever. You know what I mean? Right before that, just like around here. You know what I mean? I remember we were seeing hyenas walking around and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like, you're seeing straight wild animals walking around. You know what I mean? When you see pigeons eating hot dogs and all those type of stuff, that's a wild animal now. Pigeons not supposed to be eating hot dogs and stuff like that. Naturally. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Right? Picking the garbage and all that. You know what I'm saying? All roaches. You know what I mean? When you see a roach today, that's not a roach from 10 years ago. That's super roach,
super roach, boy.
That's super roach. That's roach that you step on and they don't die.
They laugh at you. They laugh at
You know what I
like
mean?
what?
You beat roaches down. They're not dying nowadays. That's wild animals right there. That's a wild animal. That's not insect no more. Roach, step up. You know what I mean? Right? You know? When the fire comes, I will be the water. Right? What this is one of my favorite ones right here, because everybody thinks they got something. Right? Everybody thinks that, the mothership's coming to pick them up or whatever, right? What are all these Moors doing here? There are only going to be a handful saved, and I could count them on my fingers and have fingers left over. Do you know how crazy that is? That this is the man who's coming to save everybody. The man who's coming to save everybody is saying, looking around, you know what I mean, full room or whatever.
A lot of you won't make
Like
this trip.
What are you guys doing here? The amount of you guys who are going to be saved, I could count on my fingers and have fingers left over. You know what I mean? Like, not enough people aren't going to make it. Enough people aren't going to make it. Because so he said fingers left over, so at least
8.
Didn't he?
8.
I thought it said one hand and have fingers left over.
Well, we can now, because of all the doctrine of all the doctrine of all the other stuff, right? Nobody can say that this stuff wasn't doctored. He probably did say one hand and one finger's left over. And Dirty Moors put it in because they want to get themselves in there, make sure they get some squeeze in extra 2 people.
Thumbs aren't
thumbs aren't fingers. Right? Don't endanger your life with a fool. Right? Right? One day they are going to tear down all the churches and take the bells and melt them down and make bullets to fight with. Right? Oh yeah, which
And this was written when?
This is 1920, say 1913 to 1929.
Or 1819.
1819 nothing. You know 1819. Right? One day they're going to tear down all the churches and take the bells and melt them down and make bullets to fight with. Go online and do your research.
They do that during
do your research about the Social Security Administration buying hollow point bullets.
Social Security Administration.
Yeah, buying hollow point bullets. Yeah, that's the next question. After you research that,
So
and
my
you,
social insurance is a hollow tip.
after you research that, right? Then ask yourself the question: why is the security, the Social Security Administration buying hollow point bullets for? Right? We just, Noble drew all these prophecies manifesting, right? One day, every wheel of industry is going to stop. And when they start up again, it will be in the Asiatics' favor. When destruction comes, I am going to leave enough fine buildings so that my good Moors will be able to join them. One day, some of you old Moors are going to be so hungry that you are going to bite into your own flesh and blood will skeet out. And you are going to get angry with yourself because you didn't put up enough food. Right?
Yeah.
The Moors were once seafaring people and fed the world. The time is going to come when we will go back and feed the world again. I place a ball on Babylon and it's rolling down, and anyone that gets in the way is going to be ground to powder. I am going to repeat myself. Things are going back to the horse and buggy days. When I raise my floodgate, it's going to take 16 secretaries to write down the names. I have the world in a jug and the stopper in my hand. I have the Asiatic and I have the European. I have the silver and I have the gold. One day, people are going to be so hungry that the only way you will be able to turn them away will be at the point of a gun. I have mended the broken wires and have connected them with the higher powers. It's another one of my favorites right here. I brought you your nationality, your religion, and title to your vast estate. What do you want me to do? Kill you? Money will be burnt up in the streets, and we won't be able to buy much. And when I put my spirit in the streets, you won't be able to sell your car for 25 cents. The Moors once ruled the world. Now get ready to rule it again, but this time it's going to be done under love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. One day, all property is going back to the government. I would like to save half of the people, but I am going to try to save a fourth of the people. There is just going to be a handful saved. I can count them on my fingers and have fingers left over.
That's the one I was talking about.
Yeah.
Handful.
One handful saved, yeah. So I guess the dirty Moors didn't alter anything after all. Before the end of time, I am going to lower down the evil spirits and let them incarnate. If you are not careful, your own brothers will put you in slavery. Prophet was mastermind. He knew exactly what he was doing. At the first convention in 1928, and then we'll end after this. The garment that I have on represents power, and if you obey my voice, you will have power with me. Remember that Prophet said power is an illusion, so don't even get caught up in, right?
Yeah.
Because that's one of the signs of who's studied the Prophet and who's trying to get some of the frequency of him. Because he said that power is an illusion. So if you're going to
thirst or lust for it,
lust for it,
it's a real deal thing.
You're done for.
And your agenda is always
right, you're done for. Right? I'm going to free you, though it's hard, because of your mixture, which brings about many different spirits. When you fail to hear my voice, you are lost. It is against the law to stand up in any audience intoxicated. The leader is not to stay out all night, giving earnings away to someone else. You who are heads of temples, it is easy for you to destroy the influence of the temple. Now lace up your shoes and get right. You stop figuring out your way how your salvation shall come. Just follow me. You can say one thing, Moors. You have made a start for the kingdom. If you want success, you must follow your prophet. Husbands, take care of your wives and families. Wives, keep your homes and children clean. I have done more than you think. I want you to help me by your good deeds of living at home and abroad. It is to your good, not your lips, trying to be in the front seat in everything, always standing in my face. Moors, be careful of your steps. Leaders of temples must be careful how they walk. They must be an example. I am not asleep. It will take you Moors a long time to find out what I did today. When you all go home, don't start no stuff, for I will be right there listening at you. This is no social organization. This is a divine and national movement. By you being born here doesn't make you a citizen. Look what I have on. Now it was handed to me by the government. It represents the royal prince. I have mended the broken wires and have connected them with higher powers. So, once again, today, Holy Quran of the Moorish, Temple of Science, Moorish Science Temple of America. Oh yeah, and don't forget, this is the pocket version. You can get it on rvbaypublications.com. So you don't have to get the big size, you know, you can have the pocket size that you just whip out, you know, when people are trying some stuff. Good read, The Curse of Canaan, the Demonology of History. Now that you know that we are the Canaanites and we're not no demons or nothing like that, you can go reclaim your birthright by applying that. And don't forget, October 20th, 2013, We Are a Nation. You know, if you can't be there, I guess you can't be there. If you can be there, you know what I mean, come out, represent, you know what I mean, treat it like some million-man march or something, and, you know, start saving up the little change so you can drive, plane, bus, rent a bus, charter a bus, buy a bus, whatever it is, so that we can make ourselves be seen, because this is activity, right? This is activity. This is more stepping up to do what it is that we have to do to save the nation. Islam to all the Moors online was small today, but again, you know, quality over quantity. Every day, all day. We just close out with the prayer. We got about 6% battery power, so we'll try and make it through. 5 on the left, 2 on the right. Allah, the Father of the universe.
Allah, the Father of the universe.
Father of love.
Father of love.
Truth.
Truth.
Peace.
Peace.
Freedom.
Freedom.
And justice.
And justice.
Allah is my protector.
Allah is my protector.
My guide.
My guide.
And my salvation.
And my salvation.
By night.
By night.
And by day.
And by day.
Through his holy prophet.
Through his holy prophet.
Noble Juali.
Noble Juali.
Islam.
Islam.
Peace and Hotep. Islam, Moors.